I first want to thank yourself for your leadership through these negotiations and the many hours that you put in, as well as the good gentleman from the 20th who brought his legal expertise to it, from the good gentleman from the 45th who brought forward the Sentencing Guideline Commission expertise we needed to figure out about where we should put this bill, and lastly, the good woman from the 30th District who shared her heart and taught us that you have to be the voice of those who are addicted. She also shared about making sure that this bill was inclusive. And I'm very grateful for those across the other rotunda and the other side who also helped and put their heart and soul into this work. So we're here today, and I'm grateful for that. I think, Madam Speaker, that we made a mistake in that we thought that doing nothing, or theoretically nothing, would be okay. And what we heard from law enforcement repeatedly was, it's really difficult to go up to someone on the street who's suffering from addiction severely. I mean, we have Narcan vending machines. When I grew up, we had chocolate in them. And it's a different world, but to have them see somebody suffering an addiction needle in their arm sometimes and hand them a card to say, here, you should go to recovery, was not enough. And we would do that twice before we actually were able to take action and to react to their suffering and their crisis. I'm so happy that we're moving this forward today, and it's not perfect, Madam Speaker, as you know. There will be trailer bills, there will be work, and I love that there's data, as we've heard today, to make sure that the movement forward fixes anything that we might have missed. So I was on the drive here. My father was kind enough to drive me back to the Capitol today, and we were talking about his Air Force service. And we were talking about how strict, and there were so many rules when he was serving. And I was thinking, why was that? You know, why do you see so much discipline and organization within the military? And it's because they were saving lives. You know, we could be at war, and without that discipline and that accountability for our actions, the consequences, we heard that numerous times on the floor, then people could die. And he's grateful for that discipline. I wasn't as grateful growing up as a teenager, but I understand it now. And Madam Speaker, those who are addicted are at war. They're dying. They're losing their families. Their health is deteriorating, sometimes to a point that they can't go back and live a happy, healthy life again. And I find the nexus between the military rules and the rules that we have to set for those people who are under addiction. Their mind is not working clearly, and we hand them a card. We can't do that. And so I think in this bill, we're able to set the rules, and we're able to say, hey, you have to make this decision. We're going to make it for you, because under the state of addiction, you're not able to make it yourself. You're not capable of deciding what's good for you. We're asking them, should I go to jail? Should I go to diversion and be treated? Or should I just get high? And the drug, as you heard from people who were brave enough and strong enough to tell their story, the drug owns them. They're not capable. So we as legislators and families have to make that decision. I'm grateful that this bill has a gross misdemeanor. It also allows the statute of limitations to go long enough so that we can make sure that we get action and it doesn't get stuck in our court system. I also want to share that the good gentlewoman from the 32nd taught me something this legislative session. She was kind enough to go to lunch, and I asked her, I said, so explain drug addiction to me. Explain what we need to do. What can we do to make this better? And an hour lunch, the biggest takeaway was that she said, the most heartbreaking moments when you talk to someone who's addicted and you ask them, why are you using? You've lost your family. You're losing so many things in life. Why? And she told me that they've answered often that they're not worthy of recovery. And I mean, that sticks with me, and that drives me to do this passion and go through negotiations and make this right. So I'm grateful this bill is here for us to make it right. There should be no shame. I also learned from the gentlelady from the 30th that we can't stigmatize people with addiction it only harms them more. And we all have a chance every day to begin again. One of my favorite lines is, today is the first day of the rest of your life. And I feel like that should be in every recovery center. And it's okay to fail. We fail on the floor. I fail on the floor. I learn something new every day. But we get back up and we try it again, and we have a new day and a new chance, and we have hope. I think that's really important. And then I think lastly, President Roosevelt, he said, if you believe, then you're halfway there. And I think, Madam Speaker, we have to believe for some people that we are privileged and honored to serve. We have to believe for our family members when they don't believe. And so for that reason, I simply ask you to understand this bill isn't perfect, and we're going to make it perfect. We're going to keep driving forward and trying to teach those people who are addicted that you do matter. Your life matters, and you are worth 100% of getting better. And if you fail that day, we're going to help you. We're going to believe in you the next day. So thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone who's in this room, for being here and for making this right. And I ask you to believe for those who don't believe anymore with me today and vote yes.